Good morning, welcome to Vlogmas day 20. Day 20. Oh my god. Where has December gone? Vlogmas is nearly over. Good boy. Yum, goodies for the cinema later. Merry Christmas! So this is the bit that I filmed yesterday. I'm putting in the card video today because there's not much else going on, and I am going to be making some cards for my friends at Writers Group, and I'm going to be heat embossing. I don't know if you know about heat embossing. It's one of those crafts that I absolutely love, but I don't actually see very often very many places. It's basically stamping. You use ink, you use stamps, and then you put heat embossing powder over the top, and then you heat it up with a heat gun, and that makes it all sort of rise and go like textured. It's really, really nice. I love the effect you get. You can make it look like it's proper metallics. So that's what I'm going to do, and also I'm going to use up these sort of folded, they're not envelopes as such, they're just folded pieces of paper. But when I was making my sort of logo for my blog, I had a stamp, like a wax sealing stamp made with my initials, sort of done as a little pattern. And to make the emblem we had to actually make it. So we had a load of goes on just folded pieces of paper. Is that focusing? There we go. That one is not a bad one actually, but I've got quite a few that weren't quite right. So I'm going to use these as envelopes. I'm actually going to have to sellotape up the ends so that they actually break the seal to unwrap them. And I think because they're writers, I think they'll sort of appreciate that. So I'm going to use these envelopes. So I'm going to have to make them quite small. They're not going to be standard card size. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a load of quite narrow cards. Right, I've just discovered that these pieces of card fit these envelopes pretty much perfectly. So what I'm going to do is use the silver tape, which came free the other day when I bought a pack of sellotape, and actually just make folding cards. So I'm just going to put two pieces together and tape them up to make an opening card. Simple. I don't know whether to put the tape on the inside or the outside. It might look quite nice on the outside actually. Ooh, this is where you've got to be quite precise, isn't it? There we are, one card. These are going to look a bit homemade, but they are homemade. Pointless making homemade cards if they don't actually look homemade. You don't want them too professional, do you really? People won't believe you. Right, these have a tendency to open up, so I'm going to put them under something heavy to try and get them to fold down while I make all the others. I'm doing this on top of this packaging, which is actually ideal. If you do something like this, then it stops the sellotape from sticking to random bits of paper, and you can peel it back off quite easily. So this is working out quite well. Right, chances are I want it the size of the snowflakes. Okay. What other stamps do I have? Oh, I've got a Merry Christmas. Right, I'm just going to stick to these two stamps. I'm going to go with Merry Christmas and snowflakes. And so I'm going to cut enough pieces of black card to go on top for those. I've got with me a little guillotine, which is a quite handy size. Snowflakes. This is quite handy actually, having this grid. There we are. That's them done. How am I doing? How am I doing? Still got half an hour before I have to leave. That's plenty of time, honestly. Okay, next, glue. Sorry to the person who ends up with this one. I messed up the tape a bit. So now I can choose my ink and my embossing powder colours. I might just go for silver or white. What about hologram super sparkle? That sounds good, doesn't it? Shall I try that one? I bet that looks good on black. These cost about £5 each. I actually bought a job lot on eBay from somebody that was giving up crafting, and I got an absolute bargain. I think I spent £20, maybe £25, and I've got masses of them, so that really was the way to do it. White and silver super sparkle, that sounds pretty good as well. I do like the metallic ones that really end up looking like they end up literally looking like you've melted metal onto the card. I must remember I've got black, so next time I might do black card, lilac shapes, and then black pattern on the top. That would look nice. Oh, here's some silver. I haven't got much silver left, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to try these first anyway because these sound good. Okay, you have to work quickly here because you need to tip the powder onto your stamp before the stamp dries out. So you're going to need lots of newspaper as well because you need it to tip up the powder back into the pot when you're clearing up. So let's start with the Merry Christmases. So I'm going to start with I'm going to try the hologram one. That one sounds fun. One load of powder at the ready. One stamping powder at the ready. I'm going to use silver and one stamp. Okay. Little tip: make sure you've got nothing around that you don't mind blowing away, because that will happen. Right, here we go. Stamp that into the ink. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, that's as wide angle as my thing will go. That has not covered it at all. Okay, problem. My silver has run out of ink. Right, okay. In my little set I've got this Create and Craft ink pad. So I'm going to give this a try instead. So this is just giving like a clear surface. I don't know whether to try this on I think I'm going to give this a try not on one of my cards first. If it works out well, I'll use it, cut it out and use it next year. Oh dear, that's thrown me, that has. Okay, I think I can see it saying Merry Christmas. So this is what you do, you sprinkle it over the top. Wait a minute for it to settle, then you tip it out. I mean, you can try tipping it back into your pot, but naturally some will go on the paper. Okay, that actually does look okay. Then you move that bit of paper out of the way or it is going to blow everywhere. So I'm just going to set that to one side. Then I use this heat gun. Okay, what's actually happened is that it's gone from what was white to multicoloured, which whilst it looks pretty cool, it doesn't show up very well on the black, so I'm not going to use that one, but at least I know that ink pad is working. Right, so what you do next is you bring back that sheet of newspaper, keep another sheet underneath, tip it into the fold, do that trick that mums can always do. You tip it back into the pot. Obviously there's some still left over, so if you are fussy about your colours not mixing, then it might be a good idea to use a different piece of newspaper for each colour you're using. I'm going to put that out to one side and I'm going to use the white and silver super sparkle. but I'm quite pleased with how defined that Merry Christmas on my test bit is, so I'm definitely going to use that. And I'm going to do that next, and I'm going to get this white and silver super sparkle embossing powder ready and give this one a go. Right, you want to call it an ink pad, but as it has no ink in it, I'm not entirely sure what to call it. I'm sure it must have a name. I'm making the camera shake, sorry. Okay, that looks good. I can just about see it. Cover it quickly with the glitter. And pour it as much as I can back into the pot. Oh, that looks good. Look how clear that looks. Pleased with that. Okay, put that out to one side. Put the newspaper to one side. Actually, I suppose it's pretty easier now to do this now. Let's get that into the fold and back into the pot. Now this time, while I'm heat embossing, I'll still move that to one side because I still don't want flecks of glitter absolutely everywhere. And this is also when you're careful, when you've got an open pot of glitter, make sure you don't squirt the heat gun into it. In fact, that is exactly what I would probably do, so I'm just going to put the lid on top. Okay, I'm going to go through these. I'm definitely going to do the snow. I'm going to do the snowflakes next because I think they're going to look better with this, and then I'll do the silver because I want to show you the silver. That looks so good. Right, I'm just going to go through all the snowflakes now. Now, and I'm going to change to the silver, and I'm going to show you this one because this is impressive. Done. So see how this looks quite a dull grey? Watch this. There we are. That shows you better what heat embossing can do. So you've got this raised, it's really hard to explain. It's embossing, I suppose, and it just looks like melted silver. I really like that. Right, I'm going to do the other two now. How am I doing for time? Right, I have to leave in 5 minutes and I need to change. So something tells me I might be late as usual. I'll just show you the difference. Look, side by side, that one has obviously been heat embossed and that one's just been stamped so far. So that's the heat embossed Christmas cards. I hope it gives you an idea if you haven't made yours yet. Or perhaps for next year. As you can see, the edges have curled up a bit on the card, so perhaps Pritt stick or glue stick isn't quite strong enough. Perhaps you should use double-sided sticky tape if you're going to lay a card, because obviously the heat gun just makes the edges curl a bit. Right, I'm really running late, so I'm going to quickly put everyone's names on these and put them in the envelopes. The stamp should be cleaned straight away, but I just don't have time for that, so I'm going to have to do that later. And it would have been quite nice to have stamped a quick Merry Christmas in the inside as well, but I haven't got time for that. Do you know what? I've just thought I have a silver gel pen. I'm going to use that instead of the red. Put names on all of these. Right, how cool does that look? I would love to rip open one of these wax seals. I haven't dared to do it yet. Right, okay, I'm gonna go now. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you later on. Bye-bye. We are now off to Yeovil to the cinema. We're going to go and watch the new Star Wars film. What's it called?
Rogue One.
What one?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. That's what we're going to go and see. Excited. Hello, well I'm back from seeing Rogue One. Quick review if you're interested. It's probably not my favourite Star Wars film. Sci-fi isn't my genre really. I find it confusing and I don't relate to it very well. So I'm probably not the best person to review it, but Loki, shush. But I did enjoy the one we saw last year, The Force Awakens episode 7. I thought that was a really, really good film. You didn't have to be a Star Wars fan to like that one. Whereas this one, I felt you had to be a proper Star Wars fan. You had to know the storylines, you had to know the references to what's coming ahead and what's been before and things like that. So I was actually bored throughout most of it. I really didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, there was nothing particularly wrong with it. It was just not a film for me. It was a very classic Star Wars film. I would say to the point of perhaps being cliche, perhaps, if I dare say that. There were a lot of moments that were a little bit unoriginal. If you're a Star Wars fan, please don't hate me. Apparently, the ending used to be different and they changed it at the last minute. So I'd be interested to know what the ending originally was, because this ending was perhaps... Oh, I can't say anything about it without giving anything away, so I'm just not going to say anything. Again, there wasn't a lot to show you from today, so I put in the card making that I did yesterday. So I hope you enjoyed that bit, and I hope you're having a lovely week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Now the dog's having a drink and it's the most revolting sound in the world, so I'm going to say goodnight and thank you for watching. Bye.